The peloton is already breaking apart, 80 kilometers from the finish. Tadej Pogačar attacks alone. No hesitation, no fear. And somehow, nobody follows. The peloton is split, nerves exposed, radios crackling. Tadej Pogačar rides at the front, face unreadable. He is just attacked with 80 kilometers left. The others hesitate. He does not. The road bends upward and the chain tightens. Behind him, the field is raw with disbelief. The chase never quite forms. The group of favorites looks at each other, the moment slipping away, the gap growing second by second. This is not the first time. In 2020, on La Planche des Belles Filles, the world watched a time trial that rewrote the script. Primož Roglič had yellow on his shoulders, the Tour de France nearly won. But Pogačar, riding his Colnago Shimano Dura Ace, humming, Wahoo data flashing, delivered a 36-minute storm, 425 watts average, a full minute gained, a career shattered on live television. The clock at the finish line told the story. Roglič, helmet off, staring into space. $1 million swing in prize money and sponsorship leverage was decided in less than an hour. 1 year later, the pattern sharpened. On the summit of Alpe d'Huez, Pogačar attacked with 4.5 kilometers left. His cadence held steady at 100 revolutions per minute. Envy wheels slicing the air. The power meter reading over 540 watts. The rivals, Jonas Vingegaard and Wout van Aert, tried to follow. They could not. Broadcast graphics flashed the time gap, 10 seconds, then 20, then 40. The helicopter shot widened. The crowd sensed the kill. On Mont Ventoux, he unleashed another solo, this time at 560 watts normalized power, 8.5 watts per kilogram, a number that only cycling physiologists and Formula One engineers truly understand. His UAE Team Emirates support car, painted in luxury branding, called out on the radio, "Controlled surge." The peloton fractured. Behind, the faces were twisted with effort and disbelief. The pattern is always the same: a sudden move, a refusal to wait, and then a slow, merciless separation. The numbers are public: telemetry files, on-screen overlays, watts per kilogram charts. The message is private, psychological, and brutal. Every surge is a warning to the rest. The old laws of cycling no longer apply. Specialists, climbers, rouleurs, time trialists find themselves outmaneuvered in their own territory. In 2023, mid-race at the Tour de France, Pogačar sat in the wheels, then launched with 35 kilometers to go. The on-bike microphone caught his breathing, steady, almost calm. The chain snapped into the big ring. The director shouted, "You have 30 seconds." The rivals hesitated, looking for allies. None appeared. The time gap yawned open. Every decisive stage, every attack, is mapped in data. Peaks of 650 watts in the final kilometer. A cadence of 115 revolutions per minute on the steepest ramps. Drag coefficients lower than any rival. Colnago's wind tunnel tests. Shimano's milliseconds of shifting. Envy's marginal gains. But numbers alone do not explain how a single rider can break the sport's logic. It's a chess match played at 55 kilometers per hour, a psychological war waged in the open. The peloton is forced to react, always too late. The sponsors, Emirates, Colnago, Wahoo, watch their investments multiply with every attack, every new headline. The sports economy bends around this dominance. And still, the question grows: how does one man in an era of analytics and million-euro teams keep finding ways to flip the board? The next time the road tilts up and the peloton braces for impact, who will answer? Or will they just watch the gap grow again? Jonas Vingegaard sits in the press tent, sweat drying on his brow, eyes darting as microphones close in. The air is thick with the scent of embarkation and tension. He has just finished another stage where the script was torn up by Tadej Pogačar. The questions come hard and fast. Vingegaard's Danish lilt is steady, but his words betray the pressure. You never know what's left in his legs. There's always something more. You think you're at your limit, and then he finds another gear. Pogačar. The peloton listens. Radios buzz with coded warnings. Directors sport grim faces in the team cars. Jumbo-Visma, Ineos Grenadiers, Soudal Quick Step, each searching for a pattern, a weakness, a human limit in the data. But the numbers are cold comfort. They see the telemetry, 540 watts on Alpe d'Huez, 560 on Mont Ventoux, 650 in the last kilometre. There are no cracks. The rivals whisper about unseen reserves, about a rider who seems to bend the laws of recovery and pain. The old rules, wait, measure, respond, no longer apply. Now, every favourite scans the horizon, fearing the next ambush. Peloton, Vingegaard's voice on the race radio, captured in the aftermath of another failed chase, is clipped and tired. He just goes. Nobody can follow. We look at each other, but the gap is already there. His team manager, headset pressed to his ear, mutters to the staff, "If you want to beat Pogačar, you have to gamble. You have to risk losing everything. Gamble." In the bunch, the mood is restless. Some riders check their Wahoo head units, hoping for a miracle in the data. Others stare at the branding on their Pinarello or Cervelo frames, wondering if millions in wind tunnel gains and Formula One optimization can close the gap. NV wheels spin under them, Shimano Di2 shifting with perfect precision. But the difference isn't mechanical, it's psychological. Pogačar's presence is a shadow that stretches over every plan, every attack, every hope of a normal race. The business of cycling feels it too. Sponsors demand results. Emirates, Colnago, Wahoo. They want their logos at the front, their investment justified in yellow jerseys and viral highlights. The pressure trickles down. One attack can swing €1 million bonus, can make or break a contract, can turn a domestique into a hero or a leader into an afterthought. The stakes are no longer just about legs, they are about legacy, about global branding, about the economics of dominance. Every rival knows it. The sport is changing, and it's changing around one man's shadow. Vingegaard, who trains with the discipline of Cristiano Ronaldo and the hunger of Michael Jordan, admits in one interview, "You can prepare for everything, but when he moves, you feel it in your bones. It's not just power, it's something else." You start to doubt your own numbers. The peloton is left with questions that sting. Is Pogačar beatable? Is there any tactic, any alliance, any moment when he can be caught out? Or is this the new reality, a sport where one rider can master every surface, every finish, every rival? The bunch rolls on, half watching the road, half watching him. The next attack could come at any moment, and when it does, the only sound left is the chain tightening, the radios crackling, and the silent calculation of fear. Down below, the road coils upward, each hairpin packed with bodies, flags, and the roar of 1,000 lungs. Tadej Pogačar climbs alone, face set, jaw clenched, NV wheels humming, Colnago frame flexing under the strain. The gradient bites at 10%, 11%, then 12%. The crowd is so close, the sound so dense, it is almost physical. A wall of noise that shakes the handlebars. Broadcast graphics flash. 540 watts, 8.2 watts per kilogram. Oxygen thins. His cadence never drops below 100 revolutions per minute. Each pedal stroke is a calculation. Shimano Dura Ace shifts in milliseconds. Wahoo data streams, every number feeding the engine. The rivals have cracked. The gap grows, 10 seconds, then 20 seconds, then 40 seconds. The helicopter shot pulls back, revealing the tiny figure in yellow, alone on the mountain. The peloton scattered behind like debris. On Mont Ventoux, the scene repeats, but the stakes are higher. The summit is a moonscape, wind scouring the exposed rock, gradients cruel, the air sharp with the scent of melting tarmac and fear. Pogačar rises from the saddle, 560 watts normalized, 8.5 watts per kilogram. The support car calls out on the radio, voice urgent, saying, "Controlled surge. There is no panic, just precision." The telemetry overlay blinks, 650 watts in the final 300 meters. Behind, the field is shredded. Faces contorted, jerseys stained with salt, legs seizing. The old climber's code, wait, measure, respond, has been torched. Now, it is about who dares to follow. Who can survive at this altitude, this pace, this psychological pressure? Every summit becomes a proving ground. The crowd senses it. When he crests alone, the eruption is volcanic. Helicopter cameras linger on the empty road behind, the time gap frozen on the broadcast overlay. These are not just victories, they are public demonstrations, evidence in real time. The numbers are there for all to see. 1-minute peaks over 650 watts, 5-minute averages above 580 watts, normalized power that would break most riders in half. But the numbers do not tell the full story. It is the way he rides, never flinching, never looking back, turning the mountain into a stage and the rivals into witnesses. Colnago, Shimano, ENV, Wahoo. Every sponsor gets their logo in the spotlight. Every summit, a €1 million billboard. The business of cycling is now written in altitude, in solo gaps, in the sound of a crowd losing its mind as one man rewrites what is possible. And still, the question lingers in the thin air. When the next mountain rises and the summit crowds are waiting, is there anyone left who can follow? Or will the gap just grow again? Dust rises in the Tuscan air, thick as war smoke, as the peloton rattles over Monte Sante Marie. White gravel, loose stones, every wheel searching for grip. Strade Bianche is where road racing turns feral, where finesse and violence merge with every kilometer. Tadej Pogačar sits in the wind, eyes narrowed, Colnago frame twitching beneath him. At kilometer 84, he stands on the pedals. The chain snaps taut. The drone camera catches the moment. A plume of white trailing behind, a lone silhouette splitting the chaos. The radio crackles. The team director's voice sharp. "You are alone. Make it count." Nothing but the sound of gravel pinging carbon, breathing steady, the rhythm of a soloist who is not supposed to be here. This is the land of the specialists, the gravel masters, the cyclocross kings. But the gap opens. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 50 seconds. The peloton flinches, dust choking lungs, rivals blinking through the haze. It is not just power, it is balance, nerve, the ability to float over ruts and loose stones at 40 kilometers an hour. On bike microphones catch fragments, Pogačar's breath, calm and metronomic, and the rattle of Enver wheels skipping over potholes. Shimano Dura Ace shifting, every gear change a calculated risk. The time gap stretches. Behind, Mathieu van der Poel, a master of the white roads, shakes his head in disbelief. Later, in the press scrum, he admits, "On days like this, you see who really controls the bike. He is not just strong, he is untouchable on gravel." The business of cycling is watching too. Sponsors, UAE, Team Emirates, Colnago, Wahoo, see their logos caked in dust, front and center. This is not a sanitized billboard. It is a €1 million gamble on a rider who can make chaos look like choreography. The drone shot widens, one man, alone, slicing through the white silence. The peloton scattered like debris. Monte Sante Marie is not just a sector, It is an exam. Pogačar answers with a solo break that lasts for nearly 80 kilometers, a demonstration of handling, courage, and tactical arrogance. As the finish nears, the crowd in Siena senses the magnitude. The gravel has claimed favourites before: punctures, crashes, mechanicals, but Pogačar rides as if the stones are paved for him alone. In the aftermath, the rivals gather, faces streaked with dust and disbelief. The specialists, those who have lived their lives on these roads, are forced to admit the sport's logic is broken. If one rider can dominate here, where does it end? The peloton is left with a question as sharp as the stones under their tires. When the white roads return, who dares to follow? Or will they just watch the dust cloud grow again? The Riviera wind whips off the Ligurian Sea. Milan Sanremo, the longest, most unpredictable classic in cycling. 290 kilometers in the legs. The peloton is a stretched-out ribbon, nerves frayed, every favourite calculating the final gamble. Tadej Pogačar sits near the front, Colnago frame humming, Envy wheels slicing the air, Wahoo head unit blinking out the seconds. The Poggio looms. This is supposed to be a sprinter's race. The script says the climbers attack on the Poggio, then fade as the pure speedsters, Mark Cavendish and Wout van Aert, launch their missiles on the Via Roma. But the script is already burning. Poggio attacks do not follow the script. Pogačar attacks on the Poggio, dragging the favourites with him, stringing the group into a desperate line. The crowd leans in, phones raised, the tension almost physical. At the crest, he is still there. No gap and no surrender. Down the descent, he risks everything. Tyres squealing, chain rattling over the cracks. Van Aert, Van der Poel, and Remco Evenepoel do not blink. The front group barrels towards Sanremo, hearts pounding, radios screaming in 5 languages. The finish is chaos. Cavendish's voice, clipped and sharp, comes over the post-race reel. He's not supposed to be here, not at this speed, not after that climb. Final 200 meters. The sprint detonates. Pogačar, the so-called climber, is shoulder to shoulder with the best in the world. His legs are empty, but the will is volcanic. The Colnago surges. Van Aert, the Belgian powerhouse, glances sideways, surprised. Commentators lose their composure. Pogačar is still there. He's still sprinting. The finish line flashes by in a blur of colour, muscle, and sponsorship. The result? A wheel length. A near win. Not a specialist's win. Something stranger, more dangerous. A climber who can sprint with the fastest men alive. In the aftermath, the data analysts scramble. The burst in the final 200 meters was enough to place him among the top 5 sprinters, despite the day's climbing. Telemetry files circulate, but the numbers are only half the story. The peloton's collective eyebrow is raised. Cavendish, the man with more sprint wins than anyone, tells the press, "He's changed the game. If he can do this, what can't he do?" The sponsors are watching. Colnago, Shimano, Envy, and UAE Team Emirates. Every brand gets its moment in the spotlight. Every contract justified in a single breathless finish. The business of cycling shifts again. Van Aert, usually the last word in versatility, admits, "You think you know who you're racing, then he's there, in your wheel, in your mind, at the line." The peloton is left with a new fear. If the climber can sprint, if the sprinter can't shake him, where is safe? The finish line in Sanremo is no longer a sanctuary for specialists. It is a battlefield for a new kind of rider. The question hangs in the salt air. When the next monument comes, who dares to gamble? Or will they just watch the shadow grow again? 21 stages, each one its own test. Rain sweeps the Dolomites. Pink confetti clings to skin and chain, and the air is thick with espresso and liniment. Tadej Pogačar stands at the start in Torino, his expression hidden behind mirrored lenses. In the Giro, survival is measured in recovery and resolve. Who can still attack on the 19th day? Who is left counting the cost? Each stage adds another layer. Power dashboards flicker in the team cars, silent witnesses to the effort. Pogačar's Wahoo records every surge, every calculated descent, every move made with purpose. The UAE Team Emirates directors watch as he matches pure climbers on Monte Sante Marie, then holds his own against time trial specialists in Verona. He rides to a plan, never chasing shadows, saving his strength for when it matters. By week 3, the peloton is worn thin, legs heavy, faces drawn, hunger and fatigue etched into every movement. But Pogačar's cadence stays steady, 100 revolutions per minute on Mortirolo, 95 on the steepest ramps of Passo Giao. The telemetry files show a rare consistency, normalized power that does not falter, even as others fade. On the Queen stage, gradients bite and rain lashes down, but he controls the mountain. The time gap holds, then grows. Rivals like Primož Roglič and Remco Evenepoel try to break him with long-range attacks. Each time the response is precise, the chain tightens, the gap closes, the group splinters. The radio is calm. Hold the line on the climb. The dashboard never flashes red. Evenepoel's voice cuts through the finish chaos. He never fades. You wait for a bad day, but it never comes. That's the difference. In the Giro, there is no hiding. Pogačar rides as if immune to the calendar, imposing order day after day. The peloton is left asking, how do you break a rider who never breaks himself? Cobbles punish every mistake. The Tour of Flanders is a test built from stone, a race that has humbled the best for generations. Tadej Pogačar waits at the foot of the Uda Quaremont, eyes fixed, Colnago frame rattling with each jolt. The Belgian crowd presses in, noise thick as the smoke and beer in the air. Tradition says this is not his ground. He disagrees. The peloton fractures under the pace. Riders scatter, searching for a line that will not shatter their rhythm. At the Paterberg, Pogačar shifts. Shimano Di2 clicks. 50 milliseconds to the next gear. He stands and launches. ENV wheels skitter across the pave. Wahoo head unit blinking. 520 watts. 90 RPM. Gradient at 20%. The gap opens. 5 seconds. Then 12. The broadcast flashes the numbers. Commentators stutter. This is not supposed to happen. Not here. Remco Evenepoel and Mathieu van der Poel chase. But the gap holds. The team radio crackles. Hold the sector. Do not look back. No panic. Just chain on stone. The sound of a rider rewriting the script. The helicopter shot widens. Pogačar, alone, carving through chaos. Peloton scattered behind. Paris-Roubaix is harsher. The Ehrenberg forest, stones jagged, dust choking the light. Most climbers avoid it. Pogačar drives into the sector. Colnago battered. NV rims screaming. The director's voice is clipped. Stay tight. No mistakes. He holds 42 kilometers per hour. Arms shake, cadence steady. The camera catches him surging, out of the saddle, legs hammering, the gap growing through the carnage. Sector times flash, he is gaining on the best cobblemen alive. Primož Roglič listens from behind, radio pressed to his ear. He is risking everything, Roglič mutters, voice thin on the line, but he is not breaking. The disbelief in the peloton is almost physical. On cobbles, there is nowhere to hide. Yet Pogačar rides as if the stones are smooth. Sponsors watch. Colnago, NV, Shimano, Wahoo, Logos caked in mud, but leading. The finish is chaos, the gap undeniable. The old order is gone. The question now, who dares to follow? A wind tunnel roars. The Colnago Y1 RS frame stands alone, sensors alive, smoke tracing its lines. Engineers from Colnago, ENBV, and Shimano watch as the numbers settle. CDA, 0.27 square meters. Not speculation. Bike radar and manufacturer videos confirm it. The drag is lower than any rival. Every watt shaved off translating to seconds gained, a margin that can't be wished away. On Mont Ventoux, Pogačar holds 442 watts for 40 minutes. A VO2 max brushing 90 milliliters per kilogram per minute. On Alpe d'Huez, telemetry from Stages Cycling shows 540 watts, 8.2 watts per kilogram. Cadence locked at 100 revolutions per minute. ENVA wheels slicing through resistance. Jonas Vingegaard and Primož Roglič see the numbers on their Wahoo head units. They know what's coming. The line between science and suffering is razor thin, and Pogačar rides it with precision. Shimano Dura Ace Di2 shifting clicks in under 50 milliseconds. The chain never misses. Power never falters. Wahoo LMNT Bolt streams live data to the team car, where directors tweak tactics on the fly, calling for a surge when the numbers say go. Every attack is measured in watts and seconds. Every move a calculated gamble. ENV carbon wheels, tested in the same wind tunnels as Formula One, save 5 watts per climb. Over 3 weeks, those savings become minutes. Lactate clearance is the silent advantage. Team medical reports after the Giro reveal Pogačar clears lactate 50% faster than the World Tour average. He can attack, recover, and attack again, while others are still gasping. On the gravel of Monte Sante Marie in Strade Bianche, he averages 3.8 watts per kilogram, with a 30% higher lactate clearance rate. Rivals fade in the dust. Pogačar keeps going. Cycling's business is written in equipment, contracts, and data overlays. Colnago's wind tunnel videos circulate online, the Y1RS frame promising a 12% drag reduction, a 15-second gain in a flat time trial. Shimano, ENV, Wahoo, UAE. Team Emirates. Every sponsor demands results. Every contract justified by seconds won. Gaps opened. Rivals dropped. The pressure is constant. The technology, unforgiving. Numbers tell only half the story. The peloton knows the data, the wind tunnel figures, the recovery stats. But when the attack lands, it still feels like a blow. Every metric is a weapon. Every piece of equipment, a declaration. The question hangs in the air. How do you close a gap built on science, technology, and a physiology that recovers 50% faster than anyone else? Money is the tactical core of UAE Team Emirates. Their €50 million system isn't just a budget, it's the architecture of control. Payrolls, contracts, and invoices shape every decision, echoing through the team bus, the radio, and the race itself. €12 million are dedicated to equipment. Colnago frames, wind tunnel, tested to Formula One standards, roll out each morning. NVA wheels, tuned for the day's terrain, and Shimano Di2 shifting. 50 milliseconds from command to chain, turn marginal gains into real advantage. Wahoo dashboards spit out live data, drag coefficients, wattage, every metric tracked and justified. Every component is a line item, every gram and watt accounted for. Rivals see the bikes, feel the difference, but miss the €5 million mobile lab trailing the team through the Alps. Inside, sports scientists and biomechanists work around the clock, lactate analyzers, altitude sleep pods, recovery protocols tailored to Pogačar's blood chemistry. While the peloton sleeps, the lab refines the next move. The team car operates as a nerve center. Radios crackle with more than tactics. They pulse with market pressure. Each attack, each defense, is called in real time, backed by live telemetry from the Wahoo LMNT Bolt. The director's voice, Controlled surge, hold the gap. Staff monitor wind speed, rival positions, even social media, ready to pivot strategy if the data shifts. The team's collective brain is a blend of engineers, data analysts, negotiators, and brand managers. No single mastermind, but an institution built on investment and analytics. Sponsorship is demand, not decoration. Emirates, Colnago, Shimano, Envy, Wahoo, each expects results, headlines, and return. A €1 million bonus rides on a stage win. A viral highlight can seal a contract or end a career. The pressure is everywhere. In the director's headset, the mechanic's torque wrench, the physiologist's blood work. Every choice is tactical, financial, existential. Jumbo-Visma and Ineos Grenadiers match the budget, but UAE's focus is sharper: aerodynamics, sports science, real-time analytics. The new leaderboard is performance per euro. Each attack by Pogačar is a €50 million chess move, a sponsor's hope, a data analyst's prediction played out on the road. The question lingers: is greatness in the legs or in the system? The peloton rides in the shadow of a team that turns money into dominance. The gap is measured in balance sheets, labs, and contracts. The tactical engine hums, the budget is ready, and the next move is already in play. The lines of old battles etched into his face. His voice is measured, but the words are heavy. Pogačar is the closest thing I've seen to an all-rounder in the modern era. He can win anywhere, any day. Bernard Hinault, the Badger, stares straight into the camera. He doesn't just follow the race, he makes it. He breaks the old rules. Miguel Indurain, the master of the time trial, studies the numbers, then nods. His physics on the bike, the way he holds his position, he's faster than I ever was, even with less weight. Chris Froome, 4 tours in his pocket, shakes his head. It's the recovery, the way he clears lactate, the way he comes back day after day. I've never seen it. Each legend, a monument in their own right, is forced to reckon with something new, a rider who erases the boundaries they once drew. The debate is no longer about victories. It is about the shape of cycling itself. The old guard keeps asking, how do you measure a champion who refuses to fit the old molds? The answer is still out on the road, somewhere between the data and the danger. The final word remains unwritten. Press rooms fill with static. Microphones crowd the faces of men who have just lost to Tadej Pogačar. The questions come in every language: French, Italian, Dutch, Slovenian. The answers are clipped, eyes darting, hands restless. He is everywhere, mutters one. You think you know the limit, then he moves it. Behind the quotes, a montage of headlines and radio snippets. Nobody can follow. The old rules are gone. Is this still our sport? The peloton is a chorus of doubt, each rider caught between admiration and fear, each director searching for a blueprint that no longer exists. Sponsors whisper about market share, about the value of a name at the front, about €1 million gambles that vanish in a single surge. The business of cycling is now a high-wire act, balanced on the cadence of one man. Riders stare at their Wahoo screens, at the branding on Colnago, Pinarello, Cervelo. The numbers are public, but the answer is private. The shadow grows. The finish line keeps moving. Cycling once rewarded specialists. Now, one rider threatens to master everything, and the peloton still has no answer. Every summit, every sector, every breath. Tadej Pogačar bends the laws of modern cycling. Formula One budgets, supercomputers, Colnago and Shimano precision. Rival captains recalibrate, but the equation stays unsolved. One rider, everywhere. Right now, analytics and power meters can quantify the threat, but not the fear. Cycling once rewarded specialists. Now, One rider threatens to master everything, and the peloton still has no answer. Share your take. Can anyone rewrite the script